Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome. I am back with another video in our new game tutorial series where we are trying to make a action RPG third-person multiplayer co-op game. Before we start, as always, project files will be in the description at my Patreon for those interested in that, and if you want to support the channel a little bit extra, I am thankful for any subscribes and likes and stuff like that as well, of course. And let's just get into it. So we are working with our combat system. This is what we got so far. Some directional attacks, and we can attack our enemy and reduce the front of the health bar. But what most games do is they kind of smoothly let this back bar go down. So the first red part will go down quickly, and then we will smoothly reduce this back bar. So that's what we will do today. Yeah, just some quick things I can kind of see. Like if you look at my other screen, I mean, I think it works fine because we have quite a quick rotation, but there is some amount of stuttering when we do the rotation. That's pretty natural in this case. I mean, it's not too horrible if you look at the other screen. I think a part of it likely comes down to the animation actually being bad, because I think the hand actually does do some weird rotation stuff, but I do think it's not that obvious to see, but I do think there's some rotation, because if I play as the server, it feels a lot smoother. So you see, it feels smoother as the server. I'm not sure if it looks smoother though. Doesn't look smoother. I think it's just the animation actually that does this weird. But if you do have an issue with that, there are a couple of things you could do to smooth out the rotation. There are, for starters, this is not something I recommend, but the thing is, what's happening is we're trying to set the rotation of the character on all of the clients that can see what happens. So if we just set these two functions to reliable, which means they will always fire, because if this aren't reliable, it means that these only fire, a multicast only fires if it feels that it needs to and there's enough room to do so, basically. But if you set them to reliable, it means that they will get prioritized and they will always fire in the order they were executed. And this happens every frame on this update to get this smooth rotation. So if we do set these to reliable, it should be smoother. Yeah, if you now look at the other screen, I do believe it's a slight bit smoother. But there is some stuttering. I think that's because of the animations. I'm unsure. It's hard to tell. Well, I guess we'll find out that, yeah, because you can see, even if I'm not rotating. It's very hard to tell. Anyway, that's one way that it will definitely be smoother if we set these to reliable. But it also puts more load on the server. So be careful with it. You have to test, I guess, if you do put them to reliable. That means they will fire all the time. And if you do something like this, like a timeline where it updates every tick, and you have four players to constantly attack, it might, I'm saying might, I haven't really noticed an issue with it before, to be honest, but you have to test your own stuff, see if it works or not. There's one other thing you could potentially do here to smooth out the player's experience. Could probably do like this as well. So before we actually replicate it, with the multicast. So before we actually replicate the rotation, so from remote, if we are not the server, we start by actually setting the rotation of the character on the client side only. That means that doesn't put any extra load on the network, and that should make the experience a little bit smoother for the client who's actually playing, at least. So I think I'm actually gonna do that. Because the correction from the server afterwards, after this, will be almost nothing because the target is the same. So we set, so before we actually replicate, we set the rotation of the actual character on the client that are doing the input. If you see what I mean. And that should make it slightly smoother for the players playing. All right. Yeah, I mean, that feels all right. And that doesn't really put any extra performance on the network. All right, cool. Let's get to the progress bar. Just gonna comment this. There we go. Okay. This is not the easiest thing to do. There is a bunch of plugins to put timelines in widgets. I have used some of them. It's quite good. There's also the option, because if we want the back progress bar to go back smoothly, we need some kind of timeline interpolation or macro or whatever. I have done like a macro before, but it seemed to work not very well for other people. So I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way, the intended way, or whatever you want to call it. So, because the issue, right, is there we have it. So the issue is that we want this one, the red bar, to go down smoothly, but we want this one, the red one to go down instantly, but we want this one to go down like smoothly, slowly. So we need it for this amount of damage, it needs to go from 1 to 0.7 in the course of like half a second or something. So you would normally, but we can't like do a timeline or anything inside of the actual health bar. You could also obviously put it on tick here and make a interpolation of it. That's also not ideal, because then you will have a bunch of health bars ticking, which is not nice at all. And you kind of want to put this logic, the health bar is just a visual representation, right? So that shouldn't really have any specific logic in it. We just want to be able to call functions on it, and the calculations should happen somewhere else. So in this case, the calculation will happen inside of the character. So we have this set current health function. Just gonna move it down here where we have a little bit more space. And how do I do this? So we have this new percent here, right? So we need the calculation. And we want another timeline. Smooth health timeline. Play from start. And we will do another float. So track, float track. Call it alpha track. And it will be 0.3 seconds. Right click and add a key. Right click and add another key. The first key, select it, and this will be 0, 0. And the time for the second key will be 0.3 and 1. And we're not gonna smooth this one out. Actually, this is just gonna be linear. And PPI combat. So call update percent front, and we'll add another one. Call update percent back. So we'll do this as well. Call update percent back. And so before we set this current health, the new current health, we're gonna take the current health, divide by max health, promote it to a variable, old back or percent holder. Now this is the percent. Since we haven't changed this current health variable here, right? That means that this is the percent of the bars before the damage is applied. And this is the percent of the bars after the damage is applied. So lerp quote. So A is the back percent holder. B is this. And we set the percent. And the alpha will be the alpha from the alpha track. What did I change here? Sorry, I'm just gonna unplug all of this to see if I changed anything. Overhead health bar. Front percent, this should be 1 by default. Wait, I didn't do anything. Why is it not working? Servers at current health. that's working. Is it not working on the server? Okay, it is working. Okay, perfect. So that is working. And now if I plug this in, so this is running on the server, right? And this is only called on the server. So I feel like it should still work on the server. Ah, okay. Something's wrong here. So it gets updated to, because I set the current percent, right? On the begin play. So we need to, this updates the health bar. Before we updated the max health, it's gonna be 0. There we go. So we need to swap those around. And now it should work on both the client and the server. And now we can go back to our master character. Plug this in. And let's see if that works on the server. Does not. I forgot how I did this. Okay, let me pause and see how I did this in my last time I did it. It was a long time ago. All right, that was a quick pause. I realized it was just a silly mistake because this is calling update back percent. Update percent back. So we need to go into our health bar widget, this one, and you need to actually add the call. So event call update percent back, which is the interface call that we made before in BPI combat. Just copy this update percentage font and make it update percentage back with the back progress bar, not the front. So this is the front, this is the back. So update front progress bar, update back progress bar. Nice colors, so we are happy or become happy. Okay. And now that we actually call this function, it's gonna work on the server. You can see. But this is a server event, right? So we need to make all clients aware of this. And we make all clients aware of this by actually multicasting it. So custom event multi set back bar set back health bar percent. Multicast. Gonna take this. Plug in the target health bar, new percent, and we're gonna exchange this function here to this multicast multi update multi set back health bar percent. multi setback healthbar %. Target healthbar will be this user widget, and this will be this. And we keep using interface, so we have no hard references still. Just making sure. All right, looking good. And it's still not working. Called from the server, set present. Is it working on the client? And it's not. Maybe I need to rep notify that as well. Execute on all, or it's because this widget is passed through from the server. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can see it works on both client and server. And whenever we do multiplayer development, we want to test like this, 2 players, listen server. That gives us 1 server and 1 client. We want to make sure it works on both. And then we also want to do 2 clients. So now we have 1 client, 1 client, and make sure it replicates like that as well. And it does. Perfect. So there we have our back healthbar %. We can now remove this variable. So just to make sure you understood here, to try to get the logic down. Since this event is called from the server, we're plugging this, the server's version of this healthbar in here and try to multicast that. But since the clients aren't aware of this server's healthbar, nothing happened. If we just take it here on after the actual multicast, means the clients will each grab their own instance of this. And we're gonna comment it out. Update healthbar % on damage taken. Multicast RPC for the back healthbar. No, I didn't want to. Main notify for the front healthbar using grep notify function. Just so we remember what we've done in the future. Choose whichever colors you want to. The main thing is they are beautiful so that you are happy. That's it. All right. That's gonna be it for this one. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions or whatever. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. If not, you don't have to. Patron link in the description, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.